Hey y'all, it's Thursday. Yeah. Oh, forgive me. This was calling my name all the way home, and I think, I've had two of these all week. Literally. Came home. I didn't even finish the one yesterday. Um, so I got tasked to go up to a different plant today, and actually, I had a really good fucking work day. I easy peasy lemon squeezy. Well, I was up there with the batch guy, and I was like, do not send me to that one. I will wait for the kill off for this other ones, but do not send me to that particular job. He's like, why? I said, because it's a 3-ring circus, and every time that I have ever gone there, they piss me off. They're whacked. It's fucking whacked. The whole job site is whacked. I have no patience for it today. He's like, fair enough. I'll hold you for the kill off. So he loaded this other dude to go in there. I mean, yeah, send a junkie truck in there. If it gets fucking something wrong with it, no one's gonna care. Right? And he's like, true. Right? So anyway, my last job out there was a line pump job. And the guy, it was so weird. I was like, one of the guys come up and he was like, um, yeah, we're done. I said, do you have somewhere he can, pump out into, or do they need to reclaim into me? Whatever. And they all didn't know what I was talking about. Well, on the pump, there's a thing on the end of it. It's a hook, and you can lift it up and put it on top of the hopper and pump out all your shit back into the mixer. One, it leaves the job site clean. Two, the mixer can take all that shit to the dump for you. And while you're doing it, you wash down into the pump to get the pump clean, right? And this line pump operator is like, no, I don't do water washdowns. Excuse me? I was like, all right, fair enough. I was like, because I can wash down into you, and while you're pumping, I said, I just need you to pump down all of the stuff and get fucking empty before I start washing down and you start filling up your hopper with water. Oh no, I don't do water wash down. First time ever. My 10-year anniversary is in February, and I was just like, I was blinking at him like, well, I need somewhere. Well, you can wash out right there in the gravel pile. And I'm like, I can't get in there. There's not enough room for me to maneuver my shit in there. Right? So the guy comes back up and he was like, you still got to spray out. I was like, I can't believe he's not washing. And he's like, it's his pump. I was like, well, I need to wash down. He's like, just somewhere right there is fine. I was like, thank God. So I just flipped the other chute down, whipped it to the side, and washed out. And then I actually had to do a pull up to get out of this driveway because they had rock walls on both sides. I was sitting there thinking, oh my God, I'm going to tear one of these up. Well, one of them was already tore up. I rolled over one rock. But the other side, I didn't want it grabbing my fender because it was about 3 foot high. Right? So I had to thread the needle, getting the fuck out of that. And then turning around was tricky. And then getting back from the house to the main road. This street is not a street. It is a very long ass driveway that they put a name on it. At least 2.5 miles long. And I was at the last house on the street. where these people decide to build their houses, it is almost, it's psychologically compelling because you're like, wow, sociophobic much? Wow. Anyway, so I did get out of there alive, and I got out of there unscathed, and called my dispatch, and I was like, dude over here says that they're done. He's like, yeah, they are. Yeah, come on back here. He's like, I said, I've got a good bit on, at least 4 or 5 yards. And he was like, well, it's your choice. Backtrack it to their dump, or if it's going to survive an hour, bring it this way, dump it here, and fuck it, I'll backtrack it. He's like, yeah, I figured you'd do something. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna get done until almost 4 o'clock, but I'll just backtrack it. So I had to go about 8 miles backtracking to the dump it out, clean up, get back on the interstate, back home, 8 miles out of my way. Or actually, it was like round trip 16. So, yeah, that last job was a rough one. But I had a decent day, and I got to bullshit with the dude that was batching ice. I don't see him very often anymore. And, you know, before he was in like a management position, he was like our yard supervisor kind of guy. And yeah, him and I became friends. You know, we rode bikes together. And so we've got another friend who he messaged me yesterday. He's like, the fuck did he say? I can't remember. He was like, hey, something about, because we literally work at 2 opposite ends of the earth. I work down here, and he works way up north and in Kentucky. It's not really that far, but after you work 14 hours a day, it's kind of far. So anyway, he messaged me, and I got upset with him and my buddy that was running this other plant today. He had told him, he's like, yeah, she's mad because you took off on us, you know. Her bag raked the asphalt. She almost dumped her bike. You were 6 miles ahead. You're like, your riding etiquette sucks, you know. And yeah, I fucking told him off. I was like, no, I ain't never riding with you again. You pissed me off. Well, then he did something, I can't remember what. His kids are out in East Tennessee. But anyway, he had got upset about something. I can't remember what it was. My dispatch calls me, and he was like, what's going on with so-and-so? And I was like, why are you okay? He's like, well, you know, people talk. I guess you and dude that was running the plant over the other place and him are like riding buddies. And I was like, yeah, but he's like, he got mad about something and he just up and quit. He's like, and we fucking need him. I was like, well, here's the backstory, blah 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 blah. Here's how he reacts to things, blah 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 blah. Here's how you need to approach him, blah, 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 blah. And, yeah. And I'm mad at him. And he's like, you're mad at him? I was like, yeah. He's mad at y'all. I'm mad at him. He's like, why are you mad at him? Blah, 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 blah. I said, so, mull it. And then call him. Next day. The very fucking next day. He was back on the schedule. Yeah. Then I heard something today. Or it was like 3 days ago. One of the dudes I'm friends with, he's like, hey, he calls me sis. All right. And he's like, hey, sis, how's that grandbaby doing? I want to see pictures. He loves my grandbaby. He just thinks she's the... You know what? the best thing I got out of the relationship with my daughter's dad was my daughter. I can't take a whole lot of credit for her raising, because she was raised by my sister. Well, not exactly by wanting her to be there, but situations and whatnot. I mean, basically, my sister stole her, and I basically had to chomp the bit and fucking deal, because one, I couldn't afford to fight the bitch to get her back. Two, it would have made no sense. She was already established and she was secure in her environment, and she had friends, and what, just to like pacify my own personal fucking ego? No, that would have caused major psychological and emotional detriment to my child. That's the reason why I didn't do it. But nonetheless, my sister was kind of a control freak and basically congested every visit with activities to where my daughter had no fucking time to spend with me. That shit. I will stick with that. Anyway, my daughter came to me on her own. You know, and my stepdad had always said, just have faith. And I was like, no, she's fucking ruined my kid. She's planted a bunch of bullshit crap in her head about that I'm such a fucking terrible person and that I got this like vicious temper and shit, only when it's warranted. And now my child is scared to death of me and she doesn't even fucking know me because I never get to spend any time with her. He goes, don't worry about it. He goes, trust me. It doesn't matter who raised them. Boys, little girls, doesn't matter. They always want to know who their biologicals are. They are bonded to you by genetics. He said, now, if you had raised her and things had gone sour, your daughter could grow up hating you. And he looked at me. And then he looked kind of in the direction of my mother. I was like, good point. He goes, sometimes it's just, you just got to give it time. Sometimes it's best that the parent doesn't raise the child in some circumstances. He goes, what would have happened when you had been in the military? What would have happened if you had gotten deployed? I said, she would have gone to live with her. He's like, exactly. He said, and then when you went into the military, when you got deployed, where would she have gone? I said to her, that's exactly the point. That's why I did not take her back. She would have ended up there anyway. So, I get a lot of fucking scrutiny about that. I get a lot of, well, you should have at least had her half the year. And I was like, why? So my daughter could go hang out with strangers for 3 months during the summer while we were living in tents doing tank fucking trails? Does that make no sense? So I could see her after a 3-week, bivouac? No. It doesn't make any sense. It was stupid. It made no sense to even... It made no sense. Anyway. So we could get prepared to go deploy. So I could pack up my kid again. While I pack up to go into the field, my kid's packing up to go stay with friends. And then she gets back, she's packing up again to go stay with my sister while I go play army for fucking however many months in a combat zone. Seriously. Anyway, the whole point being is I got this friend who is so cool. And he loves my granddaughter. And he just thinks she's the cutest thing since sliced bread. And he's always saying, hey, call me if you need anything. Call me if you need anything. And I'm like, no, I ain't calling you. Nope, you have got too much on your fucking plate. He's got a fucking Bentley. He does this for the insurance. He's got a fucking Bentley. Or a Rolls Royce or something. I think it's a Bentley. Yeah. It's not an old Bentley. It's a fucking new one. Beautiful fucking car. No, it's a Rolls Royce. It's a Rolls. Yeah, it's a Rolls. He brought it down that fucking road one day. I was like, are you high? And he was like, it's just a car. I was like, it's a fucking Rolls. He was like, it's a car. I was like, dude, do not ever, if I ever see you drive that fucking car down this road again, I may bitch slap you like your mama. He just smiled. He just laughed. He's like, it's just a car. I'm like, you're fucking high, dude. Anyway. Super, super nice guy. He says to me the other day, yeah, somebody called management and said we were talking about niceties. What was the conversation? I can't remember exactly how it went. I said, I'm not a nice person. He's like, you are a nice person. He's like, only to people who fucking deserve it. Ah, ha, ha, you figured me out. He's like, if you don't like somebody, they know it. You don't have to dance around them. They basically have figured out, and then they come up, like somebody had called management on me, he says. Why doesn't he talk to me anymore? Why is he so angry? Why is he so bitter? What is wrong? Da da da. I said, who was it? Whiny fuck? And he's like, no, it was another female. I was like, we've only got 3, 4. Who was it? I'm going to make one guess. And I said, who? This one? He's like, no, she laughed about it. She sat there laughing about it to me. I was like, oh, I know who it is now. Yeah. I said, the histrionic? And he was like, what is that? I said, go look it up. And you'll know who I'm talking about. But yeah, she was all worried about the fact that he wasn't being all chummy and, hee hee ha ha and, and he's like, you don't do that. He goes, you just come into work. And if somebody says something to you smart ass, you come up with something smart ass back. Everybody laughs and, like, peace out. Fucking, you do your job. He goes, you're not looking for friends. He goes, that's why I like you. You're like fucking chill. You want to talk about shit? Hey, let's talk about this. I've got this, I've been writing this. You want to hear it? And we just bullshit. I don't ask him over to fucking hang out with barbecues. He don't have a motorcycle, so we don't ride or anything. But this other guy that I'm friends with, he had messaged me the other day. He goes, how's movie, popcorn, and beer sound? I said, sounds fucking good to me. He's like, we need to go do something. I was like, you know where I fucking live. And I don't beg for attention. I don't call these people. I don't even call the females. Be like, hey, let's go, shop for yarn. I have a friend that does crochet. Or one of the girls at work does crochet. She's cool as hell. The other one, she's got, kids and, everybody's got their own fucking lives. I'm not going to sit there and intrude on them and try to, like, hey, I need to pacify my own loneliness. It's like, I really don't have any loneliness. I have me and my gin. I'm happy. I've got to figure out what I want to eat for dinner. I really don't want anything that's in that refrigerator. This sucks. Hold on a minute. I got to make another drink. Okay. I don't need constant fucking interaction. That's the thing. I get things that are going on during, in my life, and I need to talk to them about somebody or to somebody in regard, to what's going on, maybe like get my head in a perspective. And I end up talking about everything on here because I don't really have anybody to talk to. And earlier today, my mother had called me and said, "Oh, thank you for the birthday wish." And I was like, "Thank you. You're welcome." She was like, "Oh, where you at?" I said, "Cookville." She was like, "Oh, well, not too far." And I was like, "I'm not on my way there." "Oh." I said, "No, I'm not leaving until tomorrow." She was, "Oh, what time?" I said, "When I get ready." I said, "I'm going to your party on Saturday. Yeah, I will be there for that. And when it's done, I'm heading back home." "Oh." She was, "Well, I got to tell you, I just want to share. My mom is almost 80. Anyway, they went bowling. She beat them. Yes, she kicked their asses at bowling. So anyway, my mom's birthday party is on Saturday. My oldest sister is throwing it for the family. This whole week, they have had all sorts of different stuff going on. And my one sister, I just unfriended her. And out of spite, I unfriended her along with the other one, the one that I truly fucking hate, who has now finally blocked me. Because I think a friend finally told her, "You realize your sister is like totally disgusted with you, right?" And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's like, I think she might have literally disabled her page, or she blocked me. I don't know how she would have blocked me, because I have her unfriended from both pages, so she would have had to find me. She would have had to look me up. Anyway, so anyway, but the other one was posting pictures, and the whack job sister and her daughters, none of them are in it. None of them. Mm-hmm. They're not in any of the pictures that she posted. Her fiance, his sister, his brother, my stupid brother-in-law, who I fucking hate, and my my sister, my mom, and a couple of people I didn't recognize, and little baby. We call him Baby, and his name. That's his name. So anyway, he's there. So my great nephew. Anyway, so they're all up there staying for the week, but the rest of them weren't in any of the pictures. None of them. So I don't know what kind of, if they even went. Who cares? But anyway, the point is that the family element, with a lot of the animosity that I'm dealing with, my mom saying, "Oh, you're on your way." No, I am not on my way. Because she was like, "If you come to the lodge," and I'm like, "I'm not going to the lodge." "Oh, I thought you were coming." "No, I'm not." I said I was interested. I didn't say I was actually going to go. And that was a year ago, when they decided to plan all this without me. Because if it had been my decision, we would not have made you drive. I would not have made you drive 18 hours to go celebrate your own fucking birthday. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I don't need the attention. I don't need the constant interaction like the whack job sister does. Her daughter is there every single day. She does not get alone. She's not used to being alone. She did her alone time for about 3 years. She went into this lunacy of addicted to Harlequin romance novels. She would sit there and read books after my dad died. The rest of us had our own vices. Dealing with, chills, dealing with the loss of my dad. But when I had actually witnessed and had to stayed with her for a little bit, her marriage was dead back in the 2000s. 2001, 2, and 3. Dead as a fucking doornail. It was like roommates. They just divorced back in 2022, 23. Yeah. Can you imagine going 20 years in a dead fucking relationship? And the sad thing is she cannot admit to the fact that she used her husband for what he brought to the table. Even though he basically was just fulfilling the obligation of being a husband. You know, he'd come home he did a paycheck, paid the bills, contributed the money, basically lifted a finger, nothing. He didn't do nothing. She did all the yard work with the kids. She ran the activities, things like that. He did nothing. She went to college. She built herself up on his dime. And then when they finally got the one daughter to leave, it wasn't 5 years. Their lives were on completely different roads. He was doing his. She was doing her. And the daughter still come over to the house every motherfucking day. Even though she had her own place. Very sad existence. And it's very sad to think that someone with her intellect could be so woke, libtarded, Karenish that she can't see the reality of the situation and own up to it. Like, yeah, my marriage was dead for 20 fucking years. And yeah, I used his ass to get my fucking education, build myself up, and become who I am today. And when he decided to leave, I was like, bye. She can't own it. She victimizes herself. He was being involved with somebody else. No, he had lost interest in you years ago. He was just going through the fucking motions. Because you had nice things. You had a pretty fucking house. You had pretty fucking cars. You had great golf clubs. You had everything you fucking wanted. His job was done. You had no interest in him until he found interest in somebody else. He always stood in the back of the room. She would go out and she would be with the girls and they would ignore him. He would be there with his buddies would show up to entertain him. Otherwise, he'd be sitting at the table by himself. There's a lot of psychoanalysis that I could delve into, psychoanalyzing that relationship in itself, that my sister is completely blindsided to, and she refuses to see how fucking dead of a relationship it really was. Almost 30 years. And 23 of it was bullshit. That I can honest to God say. He tried to step up when my dad died, and he was just like, yeah, nobody gives a fuck. Yeah, because his family is very cold. There's a video I posted on Facebook, the hated child syndrome. Yeah, I fall into that. That's my family. Outside of the genders are reversed. Like, mom was the aggressive one, dad was the passive one. That's it. Just reverse the genders and spot on. Whole fucking thing. So anyway, I'm going to try to figure out what the fuck I'm going to eat. I need to eat something for dinner. I need to take my vitamins so I can go to sleep. And I don't want to take the vitamins just yet because I still have a lot of shit to do. I've got lots of shit to do. I gotta get the clothes in the dryer, and I gotta cook. I got like 4 ribeyes that I pulled out of the freezer on Monday. Those all gotta get cooked up. I don't know if I want to fry them up or if I'm gonna do them just in the crock pot just to get them cooked. We'll figure out what we're gonna do with them later. Beef stew can be made with any kind of beef. It doesn't need to be the packaged shit. Anyway. I don't know. I get creative. Who knows? But, yeah, I do need to make me something to eat. But, y'all, have a great weekend. I know I've not been on here very much. But, yeah, these are the gripes. These are the things I need to talk about. And if you're really interested, you'll watch to the end. If you're not, I don't care. I really don't. This is the way I get this shit off my chest so I don't pine over it and dwell and carry it around with me. Now, I'm going to carry this shit around with me because it's all family based. It's annoying. It's annoying. But, yeah, she finally blocked me. Wasn't me. Wasn't me, Smalls. Wasn't me. Peace.